Hi, I am Dr. Papya Bhattacharjee, and we are given an equation y equals x squared plus x minus 2. We have to figure out that when you draw the curve for this equation, what is the x and the y-intercept, if there are any. So we have to figure out x-intercept and y-intercept. Let me remind you first what they are. So given a curve, what is an x-intercept? So an x-intercept is the points where the curve is passing through x-axis. It's very easy to remember. So wherever the curves, if you have any graph, say, of a function, wherever is passing through the x-axis, that's an x-intercept. So how do we figure out an x-intercept of a graph? Look, this point where it's passing through the x-axis, that point will always have the y-coordinate 0. So this is a point x, 0. So in order to figure out the x-intercept, all we have to do is set y equals 0. Similarly, for y-intercept, we do just the other way. So y-intercept is wherever the curve is passing through y-axis. And how do we figure that? That will be a point where the x-coordinate is 0, because this is a point 0, y. So all you have to do is take the equation and set x equals to 0 in that case. So let's take this equation and let's figure out x and y-intercept if there are any. So let's do x-intercept first. Okay, so remember x-intercept, you have to set y equals 0. So here is our equation. We set y equals 0. That means y is x squared plus x minus 2. So set x squared plus x minus 2 is equal to 0. And then we have to solve for x. We have to figure out for which x values this is true. So look at this. This is a quadratic equation. All you have to do is factor. All right, so let's see if we can factor. So if you remember, we have to look at this 2. There's a minus 2 here, and then we have to break it apart. We have to see how many different products we can have to get 2, and you have to look at this second term to see if you can add those two numbers to get this. Now 2 is 2 times 1. All right, so can we put 2 and 1 here? And then if we do that, but we have a plus x. So how do we make this plus x? We have to make plus 2, right? So x squared minus x plus 2x will give you plus x, and 2 and 1, the minus 1, will give you minus 2. So that's the factor, and each factor will give us a value of x. So when x plus 2 is 0, we get x equals minus 2, and when x minus 1 is 0, we get x equals 1. So those two values, remember this is not the answer. We have to give x-intercept. That means we have to figure out the point where the curve is passing through x-axis. So always write it in a point form. So here is our answer. So x-intercept for this graph is, so minus 2, 0, and 1, 0. All right. Now, let's try to figure out the y-intercept of this graph. Very similar to x-intercept. Look here, look back. So y-intercept is when x is equal to 0. So the other variable has to be equal to 0. All right, let's take our equation and plug in x equals 0. So what do we get? Y will be equal to 0 squared plus 0 minus 2, and which is equal to negative 2. So there's just one value of y where the curve will pass through y-axis. And so y-intercept is, remember you have to write it down in the point form. So y is negative 2, x is 0. So this point is 0, negative 2. Thank you so much.